So, where do I want to start? Let's see. So, 189 days ago, I reconnected with my high school sweetheart. And immediately I was right back there in high school, totally in love. So wrapped up in my own emotions. It was bad. Like at that point, it was an unhealthy emotional response. So I definitely took a step back, and for the most part, I was okay in managing my emotions, but I just became a friend, right? And over time, we grew closer and closer, and eventually she confided in me that she had feelings for me. So I was thrilled. I was over the moon because I had really been like scaling my emotions back when all I wanted to do was just love on her so much, because I know that I would have been so good to her. And after a couple months, she asked me out. June 12th, 2025. And the way she asked me out was just amazing. Like, she got a book, and I read the book out loud to her because she asked me to, and I thought she was just being adorable and trying to bond. But then in the back of the book, she had written a letter basically stating her feelings for me. And I was thrilled. And the first month, it was great. And I'm not really sure what happened. Well, actually, that's not true. I know exactly what happened. She came to the realization that she had some healing to do, which is great. Everybody should, work on themselves and try and heal parts of them that are broken or traumatized. And she started dropping hints that, saying things like, I need this season for me, and this is a season of healing. And in my head, I was thinking, okay, well, yeah, we can both work on ourselves separately, but still be together. And that's not what she meant. She meant, like, we should just be single. And eventually it got to the point where she had a very frank conversation with me that because of how traumatic her past relationships were, that she didn't want to, or she wasn't even sure that she wanted to be in a relationship ever again because of that. And so we were kind of like walking on eggshells, having good times. We didn't really have any bad times. We had a couple of minor disagreements, but I thought it was like pretty civil, and we just agreed to disagree. That didn't mean that we didn't love each other or care about each other. And I realized this is all a lot of lovey-dovey talk after a couple months, but like I need to stress to you guys that like for the longest time this woman has held a part of me. She's never left my mind. She's been the standard that I've held every relationship I've been in. She's been the standard that I've held them to. So like, does that sound unhealthy? Yeah, looking back on it, it does. But we were just kind of walking on eggshells, and it culminated in a message from her yesterday after having been broken up for about 3 weeks, but still, you know, being close and intimate with each other and really staying connected. It culminated in a message stating that while she's not pursuing a relationship, she has close connection with other men, and she wants to explore that, and she didn't want me to be mad or get hurt or upset, which I'm not, because I kind of saw the writing on the walls when I did the math and looked at all the hints that she had given me and whatnot. And like, side note to all the women out there, I'd say roughly 65 to 70% of the men in the world don't do hints. We prefer if you just come straight the fuck out and tell us. So I wasn't mad, but I told her, I was like, you know, that changes the way our relationship is going to be, right? Like we're just going to be friends. Like I don't want you to tell me you miss me, or tell me that you want to do life with me, but at the same time you're out talking to all these other guys and not being in a relationship with any of them. And it just gave me a bad feeling, right? So I decided to set some boundaries. I said, don't tell me the emotional shit. And because one of the things I had said was, after we broke up weeks ago, I said, if you do anything intimate with another person, please tell me, because then I'll just stop being intimate and close with you. And when I set that boundary, I said, those feelings that I had, the love that I had for you, you could call it idolization. Like I idolized this woman. When I set those boundaries, she didn't like it. She said that it just proved that I never wanted a friendship with her, that I only wanted a relationship. Which, if I'm being honest, there's some kind of truth to that. Like we were lovers in high school, but I was non-committal. I didn't want a relationship in high school. I went from being homeschooled to straight into public school, and it was a culture shock for me. I discovered sex, drugs, and rock and roll, more or less. So I was like, I basically told her, I was like, no, I still very much do care about what's going on in your life. I want to know about like your divorce and your living situation and your job situation. Like I want to know major events, and like we can still go out for coffee and all that stuff, but I'm not going to be putting myself in a situation where it could lead to us, or to me, I can only speak for myself, I'm not going to put myself in a situation where it leads to me being intimate with you, because I'm not part of a roster. I'm not going to be one of the guys that you're being close or intimate with. And I just feel conflicted because she had essentially said, well, then this just isn't going to work, and she removed me on Snapchat and all that stuff, and I'm just like, the whole relationship, every time I would try to express my feelings about how these guys that she was talking to, when we were actually dating, I expressed to her that these two guys made me uncomfortable. I never told her I want you to stop talking to them. I never tried to control her in any way, because I was hoping that if her feelings for me were as real as she said they were, that it would come from a place of respect. She would be like, hey, Mr. Guy that makes my boyfriend uncomfortable, you're a really great guy. But I'm in a relationship with this man, and your presence in my life makes him uncomfortable. And so I want to respect his feelings and his emotions regarding the whole situation. And she took that as me trying to control her. But I never once told her. Because I told her, I said, the fact of the matter is, I'm friends with a woman who is also friends with her, right? So me and the girlfriend had a mutual friend. And this mutual friend made my girlfriend uncomfortable for a period of time. And I said, we had gone through an event, let's call it, where I said, if this mutual friend makes you uncomfortable, I'll cut her off, because you are where my heart is. You are my priority. I want to build a life with you. I'm not building a life with her. And I was willing to do that because I respected her. So I wanted her to have that same natural desire. Well, she didn't, and she took it as controlling, or trying to cage her or lock her down. And I've never wanted to do that, because she is an unbelievably wild and free spirit. And it's intoxicating. It's not surprising that these two guys have a thing for her. It's really not. She even said as much. She said, Adrian, a lot of guys are into me. And I was like, okay, and I'm not sure why, or when, or how, but that devolved into her wanting to be able to explore for herself, and she said, and I quote, I want to be able to explore what I want, with who I want, when I want, without feeling guilty about it. And so I guess my question is, keep in mind, I never demanded anything from her. I never even asked her to stop talking to these guys because I was hoping that the love and respect would just naturally be there. So I guess my question is, when did hoping and asking for respect turn into controlling? When did that turn into I'm trying to limit you or hold you back or deprive you of a friendship? You were free to, like, she was free to make her own choices. And she did. You know, the actions she took in choosing this season of her life meant that I was going to implement boundaries in our friendship. I was going to remove my emotional attachment of love for her from the friendship because that's what I felt is healthy. So when did that turn into me being controlling? Because I never demanded anything from her. I never asked her for anything. I never gave her an ultimatum. I never gave her any kind of anything in that matter. All I did was explain that it felt or came across as disrespectful, and that was it. I never said anything more about that. I told her how I felt. She said, "Thank you for sharing how you feel." And then I dropped it. So am I in the wrong here? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think.